We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I want to talk about why by Urgot. Urgot is the headsman's pride, I believe, is his insignia. But he is a pretty interesting champion and one of the perennially underplayed champions, one that you do not see very frequently. Very, very low percentages in terms of playtime. But I still, despite all that, I think that he is very strong. And there are some reasons why he's underplayed. And I guess let's just go ahead and start and get into those. I would say there's probably three reasons. One is he's a little bit of a difficult champion to play. He has a higher skill cap, and he requires some fairly solid mechanics. Just because you can see it looks like an invade is kind of being set up here. I could kind of see things coming, but didn't exactly know how to respond properly. Katarina dives in, and I get a little scared, so I just flash over the wall, thinking I was going to get blown up. Although they didn't have any ranged champions other than Lissandra in the mix here, and Lux, I guess, but both of them are APs, so I probably would have been alright. But nonetheless, they're going to steal our blue buff. Sad news for our jungler, so maybe he can go steal theirs. But he started red, so everything's okay. But anyways, let's get back to Urgot and why he's underplayed. He's a difficult champion to play. He has a high mechanical skill cap. Difficult if you're just kind of getting started on the game to kind of hop in and get started here. Getting a little harassment on Katarina. It's going to start playing off right. But he has mana issues early on. He's just, I don't know, he has a very, very specific and narrow playstyle and role and strengths, weaknesses, those types of things. He doesn't really, he doesn't have a ton of variety in his build and his playstyle. He just kind of does one thing, does it really, really well, and it just kind of depends on whether or not you get it. Just a quick note, this was a very, very strange game. I don't exactly know what their enemy team, what their strategy was, but they decided to send two mid, and actually have three AP carries with Katarina, Lissandra, and Lux. So very strange. I'm assuming that there was some sort of dispute going on in Champion Select, and I am probably assuming that the Katarina player went ahead and insta-locked, because Katarina players do that. No, I'm just kidding. If you love Katarina, good for you. I just have seen a few Katarinas in my day be a little bit crabby. But anyways, back to why he's not played so much. Number one, a little bit difficult mechanically. Number two, he's just an ugly champion. I think that his aesthetic is not very popular. I mean, he's just this ugly, crab-looking, disgusting, not even like human type thing. And if you think, I mean, a lot of the more popular champions, one of the things that they have going for them is that they are, they've got really cool skins, or they've got this kind of cool aesthetic. I think that the aesthetic is something that's undervalued and underrated in champions. I think people, they want to like their champion. Think about someone like Teemo. I think people people who like Teemo love Teemo because of his aesthetic, because of the way, his character model all looks, and the way that he, his cute little voice. All those little things go into why people like champions. And Urgot is just ugly and disgusting, and not even in like a good way or like a noble way. He's just like really ugly. But that's just kind of my thought on the thing. And then lastly, we don't really see him in competitive play, and in specific, I mean, you do, but specifically within that, I don't think he fits within the current metagame very well. I think that's probably his biggest problem, is that he doesn't really have a place in the current metagame. He's a very interesting role. Like, he's a ranged AD, so he's kind of an AD carry, but he also, has some bruiser elements to him. He's got some CC elements to him, some things that require him to get in and out close. He's got a lot of mana. He's got very low auto attack range. He's got, some really good AD spells. See, I'm just bullying this Katarina now that I've got my full combo. This level 5 is where he's extremely strong. But anyways, Urgot, he's a pretty interesting champion, but very much underplayed, and that's kind of why I think that is the case. But let's go ahead and talk about his skills and abilities, because he's pretty interesting, and his skill set. It very much, he has a very strong synergizing skill set and ability set. As you can see, dropping some stuff here onto Katarina and going to help Rengar pick up that kill. Really nice job. And he just has tremendous damage. I would say around this level, Urgot is extremely strong. So, but anyways, let's talk about his skills and why I picked up that kill. So, his passive, Zon Touch Bulldog Mentor. This is basically his auto attacks and his Qs, his Acid Hunters, will reduce the target's damage. So basically, this is kind of a weird thing because it makes him most suitable to be the one, like kind of an assassin. You know, the one target, like an anti-carry. His passive specifically makes him a fantastic fit for an anti-carry, somebody who's specifically trying to go in and kill their enemy AD carry. And if you think about common, you know, AD carry mechanics and positioning, it's usually considered very, very bad positioning to try to go in and kill the enemy AD carry. So for Urgot, you know, to have this different type of a role, it just is very interesting and different, I would say, than the meta currently holds. But a very strong passive. You know, his auto attacks and his Qs reduce their damage. So any champion relying on physical damage, Urgot is going to pretty much be able to shut them down. You know, so it makes him a great choice against pretty much anybody who deals physical damage. So you can see right here some really nice stuff. I end up using my ultimate there on Katarina, and we're going to pick up the kill. So a lot of really good, interesting ability uses. Hopefully they continue because I haven't gotten through them all yet. But his Q, Acid Hunter, this is his primary skill. It is on an extremely short cooldown, and it also synergizes with his E ability very well, which I'll get into later. But basically, it is a lined skill shot nuke. It does physical damage. It scales with AD, and it has good, nice range. I want to say it's about 1,000, which is kind of about the range of an Ezreal Q. So very strong, very high range ability. Not too scared of this here Tremere. He's just kind of being a little bit of a bully. But those right there, I was throwing Qs on him right there. Every time I do that, you know, launch up ability, those are the Qs. I use it to farm. You can use it to harass right there. There was a Q. There's another Q. You know, between your auto attacks and your Qs, it's really a strong damage source. It's a very short cooldown, 2 seconds. And with some CDR, you can even get it down even lower than that. CDR is pretty, you know, extremely important on Urgot, and I'll get into that in a moment. But his W is his shield, and it also will cause his auto attacks and his Qs to slow the target. So very strong, again, synergy with his abilities. So if you're auto attacking or you're Qing or if you're any sort of trade, you want to pop your shield because it will slow your opponent. You can see right there, I popped it right there just to absorb some of that damage from Katarina and to apply a little bit of a slow. But it's very strong to have a shield, and this is kind of another thing, again, that makes him a little weird, is that he doesn't really fit the typical AD carry role because he's got a shield. You know, that kind of makes him a bit more of a bruiser, suitable for a solo lane. You know, characters with shields are just not, you know, they're launching some Qs onto Katarina. Very good stuff right there. But then again, there was my shield, using it to slow her, to keep her in range so I can continue to land Qs. So a very strong part of his kit. I like to max this ability second, just because I appreciate having the stronger shield in lane. It helps with trading quite a bit, because I like to take Urgot into a solo lane. But maxing E second is also pretty viable for more damage. Right there you can see I actually did use my E. This is his Noxian Corrosive Charge. It's kind of a grenade. Basically, it is a location-based skill shot that will deal damage. It will shred armor. And then what it will also do is it will allow your Qs to lock on and then to launch. So typically your Qs are a lined skill shot that will hit the first target that it comes into contact with, very similar to an Ezreal Q. It will not pass through a target. It will not go around a target. It just hits the first target that it comes into contact with. But when you land your E, if you hover your mouse over your enemy that was afflicted with Noxian Corrosive Charge, you will actually lock on with your Qs. They will launch over, they will gain extended range, and they will guaranteed hit. Whereas, you know, your Qs are normally a skill shot that you cannot, you know, that cannot be dodged, or that can be dodged. Well, when you land your E right there, you can see I landed an E. You can see that there, you can see how Katarina is glowing with green ooze. That means that she has been locked on with an E, with the Noxian Corrosive Charge, and then if I throw a Q on her, if I hover my mouse over her and then hit Q, it will actually fire those Qs. They will launch up into the air, they will pass over any creeps, and they will guaranteed hit. You can see landing another E, but it only hit the creeps that time. Unfortunately, I missed hitting Katarina. If I got one more barrage of easy Qs, I would have gotten the kill. So, trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. He does have, his skill set and his mechanics are very different. This whole idea is that you want to start your combo off by hitting your E. So you want to land your grenade, and that will afflict them with the Noxian Corrosive Charge. Then you want to pop W, and then start immediately pounding them with Qs. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. Your Q is, by default, set to SmartCast. So if you are used to, skill shots or whatever, when you hit the Q, then the aiming indicator will come up, and then you have to hit it, click it again in order to fire it off. They're landing an E, there's a Q, popping my W, there's another Q. You can see there's another Q landing tons and tons of damage, as Freak would say. But anyways, just want to highlight that combo. As I was saying though, typically with a skill shot, if you hit Q, the line indicator will come up, you will click then, and then it will fire off. But Urgot's Qs are by default set up to SmartCast. So if you're not familiar with SmartCasting, I did make a video on SmartCasting. Go ahead and check that out. But basically all that means there, you can see another EQ, EW, Q, Q, Q combo onto Lissandra, getting a ton of damage off onto her. Again, that combo is just extremely potent. But to finish my point, if you're not used to SmartCasting, you're probably going to need to, because it is set up by default onto your Q with Urgot. I'm not sure if you can actually undo that. So this whole idea of where your mouse cursor is at is very important with Urgot and his Qs. You really need to make sure that you have a grasp of that. So landing another E, W, and getting 2 Qs. Can I get a third one? Nope, just going to let her go. So yeah, that's kind of where things stand. And then lastly, his ultimate. This is his hyperkinetic position reverser. Basically, what this does is it allows you to swap positions with your enemy within a moderate range. I want to say it's around, okay, the range starts at 550, goes to 7 or 8. Right there, you can see I used it there onto Katarina. Switch places with her, bring her closer to Rengar so we can get some damage off on her. And I'm going to pick up the kill there with my Qs. Unfortunately, Rengar went down to the tower, but that was a good use of my ulti right there to try and set up that gank. Your Urgot has fantastic initiation. If you see a squishy target, you can get them out of position. You can very easily swap yourself into the enemy team. And it gives Urgot additional armor and magic resist for 3 seconds after the swaps, which is very handy because you're probably going to be putting yourself into a bit of a pickle, bit of a difficult position. So having that extra bonus of defensibility and having your shield on your W is very important. But very, very cool ultimate. It's very fun to use. The position swap is really cool, fantastic for team fighting. Just overall, it's good. And again, this is kind of another thing combined with his passive that makes him a very strong anti-carry. So the idea is that you want to, sometimes I'll even flash ulti. You flash in and you use your ulti on a squishy target who's probably their best primary carry, who's going to do the most damage to your team. You get them, into the middle of your team, separated from their team who can defend them. You blow them up. You've got your shield. You've got you've got the bonus armor and magic resist from your ultimate, and you'll be able to make it out alive a lot more effectively than they will, because you're going to be building a little bit tankier. So yeah, those are his skills and abilities. His kit overall is it synergizes very well together, but it also is just a little bit weird. He doesn't really have a role that is clearly well defined. If you think about a champion like Katarina, there are lots of assassins. Katarina is just one of them. They all kind of do the same thing, just a little bit differently. Whereas Urgot, there really is no champion quite like him. He has a very unique role in playstyle, and like I said before, it doesn't really fit neatly into the standard metagame. He can be played as an AD carry, although personally, I have not had a lot of success with him as an AD carry. But I know that Double Lift specifically has played him in the LCS. I've seen other teams run him, with a very specific type of team comp. Especially if you're running with a lot of bruisers, Urgot can be very strong, very, very powerful. And I definitely think that he's worth considering for that reason. That he just has the ability to do things that other AD carries cannot. But to talk about his gameplay and his basic combos, we continue to watch me lane. I really hope that I get a successful one. But basically, like I said before, his basic combo. You need to land your E, which is a skill shot. Once you land your E, you pop your W, so that you can get the slow, and then you want to just hit them with as many Qs as you possibly can. So, and this is going to require quite a bit of mechanical skill. Like I was saying, he has a very high mechanical skill cap. Because, first of all, landing the E is not easy to do. It is a skill shot. You know, it has a somewhat slow projectile, so you need to be on point with your E. Right there, you can see landing an E onto Trainer Mirror, popping my W, throwing out some Qs. Unfortunately, he got out of range with his spinning slash. But that's kind of it. You want to be, and it's difficult because when you land your E, then you need to be kind of moving and keeping your cursor over them so that you can hover those E's. There's another E, W, Q. There's another Q. Can we get another one? There's the third Q. That's good stuff right there. Just chunking him down. A lot of action bottom lane. Triple kill for Lux. Wow. I actually want to watch that. I want to see what happens. It looks like Lux probably blinds them all up. Oh, yeah. Look, she looks lined up for a laser. There it is. Oh, nope. Just kidding. 2 in the laser, and then a nice combo there from Lux. Good job, Lux. Although you're not on my team, so stinky. But, as I was saying, you want to pop your E right there. Throw on your W to get the slows, and then barrage them with Qs. And all the while, you need to be still moving, and then quickly moving your mouse back over them to launch another Q. Continue moving with your right-clicking, then launch another Q. So it just is very high. It's very mechanically taxing. You need to be on point with your mechanics, because he's not an easy champion to play by any means. But if you are able to land that combo, I mean, you've seen in this lane just how much I've bullied Katarina. It's 123 CS to 66, 0-4 and 4 to 2-0 and 1. Urgot is an extremely strong lane bully. Once he hits about level 4 or 5, Urgot becomes a beast. Hopefully by that time you've been able to pick up a tier, because Urgot has very, very severe mana problems in the early game because he relies so much on his Qs for damage. You know, and they have a relatively low mana cost. I believe it's 40 mana, but still, you know, on a less than 2 second cooldown, it's just a very, very, you know, severe mana problem that he needs to have mana. So once you get your tier, once you get maybe an AD item, he is going to be very, very strong and very hard to deal with. You know, because basically, if he lands his E, he has, I believe, 3 guaranteed Qs that he's going to land on you from an extremely strong range. Because when your E is active, your Qs have an extended range of 1200. It goes from 1000 to 1200. And you can fire them through Fog of War, through Brush. You know, it's just very, very strong. There's really nothing that you can do in terms of counterplay to, unless you can like shield it, but you cannot dodge them. It has very strong, very long range. You can see right there missing on my E, but I'm going to scare Katarina away repeatedly here because I am very strong. So Urgot is a very strong lane bully. You know, Katarina's coming in. That's okay. I'm going to pop my W. There's my ulti to swap places with her. She's going to have to flash away. There's an E, Q, Q, one more Q. One more is going to get the kill. Where is it? There it is, right there. Picking up a nice kill onto Katarina. You know, Sheepot came in with her ultimate. I ate the damage with the shield on my W, and then I swapped places with her with my ulti. Then I landed the EQ combo, and with 3 Qs I was able to pick up the kill. And my Qs each are doing 130 plus 170, so 300 damage per Q. That is a lot of damage at level 13. Very, very high, strong damage. If we just take a look by comparison, Graves is only doing 200 damage with his auto attacks. You know, with his buckshot, he's doing 300 damage. But I have, you know, this is a 7-second cooldown. I have 300 damage on a less than 2-second cooldown. So think about that in comparison. 1.4 seconds, every 1.4 seconds I have to deal 300 damage. That is a lot of DPS right there, folks. So there we go. That was a good example. I was hoping that I would get one, but basically what you just saw right there is what Urgot does. He is a lane bully. You know, like a Darius, like a Garen. But Urgot is the AD caster version of a lane bully. If you land your E, which I did right there, you know, even though Katarina's behind her turret, I'm still going to get 2 Qs off. You know, there's just nothing that can be done there because, you know, he is such a strong lane bully. So really the only counterplay is you have to dodge his E's. Or specifically for an Urgot, you have to land your E's because that will give you the lock on and then you will bring the pain. His E's do damage, and his E also has a very interesting. It has an armor shred, up to 12, from 12 up to 20%, which is very nice. You can see landing another E, couple of Qs right there. That's gonna just really chunk her up. And also, one specific thing about Urgot is Black Cleaver will fully stack with one E because it does it ticks over time in applying its damage and its debuff. So if you buy Black Cleaver, which is a core item on Urgot, it will actually stack its own armor shred with one E. Landing one E will completely stack Black Cleaver. So again, he has very, very high armor shredding capabilities, very high damage capabilities, very strong lane bully. Basically, when you're in lane with Urgot, once you get about level 4 and you get your tier, you're probably going to want to have, 2 points in your Q, 1 point in your W, 1 point in your E. Then basically all you're doing is you're looking to land an E, throw out as many Qs as you possibly can. Then, they're going to get chunked down to maybe a quarter or a third of their health lost. Then they're going to, try to heal up, maybe suck down some pots, come back at you, and you're going to do the same thing over and over again. And basically it's rinse and repeat. Land that E, Q, 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 and boom. You are going to do a ton of damage. And it's a very, very fun playstyle. I really enjoy playing as Urgot, I have to say, because he's such a strong lane bully. He is such a strong laner. I mean, if you get the mechanics down on this EQ correctly, there you can see flashing in to ulti in, gonna get in position for Rengar to come in, landing my EWQ, throwing out more and more Qs. Can I get one more? No, I can't, because Rengar picks up the kill. So you can see right there, using my ultimate to full usage right there to help Rengar get in position for that gank. His ultimate is fantastic for setting up ganks. You can see I flashed in, totally caught her by surprise, and then got her way out of position for the gank. So, very, very strong. Now, he is a lane bully, and I already talked about his mechanics with the E's and the Q's. And in terms of a build, I would say it is very, very certain that the best way to build Urgot is a mix of damage, durability, mana, and ultimately CDR. CDR is very much an extremely important statistic on Urgot. I believe that the magic number is 33% CDR. If you can hit 33% CDR, you can actually allow yourself to get off 4 Qs in the span of your E. So when you land, like I said before, it's all about landing E's and Qs. If you land your E, it actually will go for 5 seconds. So if you want to do the math, you need to fit 4 Qs, which it starts on a 4-second or on a 2-second cooldown. You will need to fit 4 of those Qs inside of 5 seconds. That's pretty much what you want to be doing right there. You're gonna swap positions with this Tryndamere, and we're gonna blow him up once he comes off his Undying Rage. I'm just popping with easy Qs right there. Gonna pick up the kill with one last Q. Just a good job to get Tryndamere out of the middle of my team there with my ulti. But, ooh, another double kill there onto Lux, landing another EQ combo. But as I was saying, in terms of itemization, you need to hit that magic number of 33%, because that will get your Q from a 2-second cooldown to, I believe it's like a 1.25 second cooldown or whatever. I don't exactly know what the cooldown needs to be, but you need to get to the point where you can get 4 Qs off during the tick of your E. So when you land an E and you're popping your Qs, you want to get 4 off. That will lock on. That's pretty much the magic number, because the damage difference between 3 and 4 is immense. That's, like I said, an extra 300 damage. Oftentimes that will be the difference between getting a kill or letting them walk away with under 100 health. So very, very important that you get some CDR in order to allow yourself to get that magic number of 33%. Usually I'll just shoot for a straight 40, because getting 33 is a little bit weird. I think it's easy to get like 30%. Because usually CDR goes by increments of 10%. But if we take a look at my build, you can see getting some E's and Q's off onto Tryndamere, really good stuff right there. There's 4, so I did get 4 in. But I've got 15% from my boots. I've got 10% from my Black Cleaver, that's 25%. And then I believe, let's just take a look exactly how much. I think, okay, so I have another 4% from my Mastery. So I don't think I actually got 4, I think I got 3 off. I just was thinking hopefully, but I need to get another CDR item, and usually that will come in the form of a Frozen Heart or maybe an Iceborne Gauntlets. Both of those can work pretty well. I tend to prefer the Frozen Heart. So, yep, so you can see I'm picking up a Glacial Shroud. That's going to give me another, there we go, 39% CDR. So, the Glacial Shroud, whatever you want to build it into is fine. but you need to get the CDR from the Glacial Shroud. So this does a couple things for you in terms of itemization. So you got the Manamune, because like I said, you need to get a tier, and you want to build AD, so Manamune, perfect item for an AD caster, makes great sense on Urgot. Then you get your Black Cleaver to give you health at 80, cooldown reduction, and the Armor Shred, which specifically works very, very well with your E. These two items, I would say, are 100% core. Also, probably CDR boots, but then from there, I really think a Frozen Heart is a great choice because it gives you more mana, which is good because it will deal nicely with your Mirror Mana, because that will transfer that into AD. Also, you know, with your Mirror Mana, if you have the toggle on, you can deal immense damage more with your Qs. And, you know, so then you want to have even more mana to spend with the toggle on. And then you also gain armor, makes you tankier. But then ultimately you get more CDR. So, again, very, very core to his build is CDR, and then getting all these items to work together. So the Black Cleaver, the Mirror Mana, the Ice, the Frozen Heart, all these items, you know, they work together very nicely. They have some very nice synergy to make him very strong. And again, you, like I said, with itemization, you want to hit that magic number of 33%. In order to, you can see having a little bit of a duel here with Tryndamere, but he's got his ultimate, and he scares me. Tryndamere always freaks me out with his ultimate, but that will happen, so I'm just going to run away because I'm scared of him. But I maybe could have probably won that trade, but you never really know. Just wanted to really make sure, because I have a really strong game. I have a lot. I'm worth a lot right now. Going to pick up my Warden's Mail. So yeah, in terms of build, this is why he's not really... I think that, personally, this type of a build path is the best way to go on Urgot. So you're going kind of this tanky, assassin, bruiser, anti-carry, and like I said, you're building all those things. You're getting that magic number of 33% cooldown reduction. You're getting mana. You're getting, you know, the Mirror Mana charged up. You're getting the Black Cleaver to shred down with your E. All those things just kind of work together very, very nicely to create this character who is very powerful. You know, you've got strong initiation with your ultimate. You have extremely strong damage with your E. They're going to land an E, W, Q. You can see I'm slowing him, as he's not going to get away here. He's going to pop his Undying Rage, but... Oh, it looks like he is going to actually get away. That is unfortunate. Nope, it looks like at least he's going to go ahead and finish him off there. But, very high damage, very high range. Very, very strong poke. You can see right there, flashing in for an ult onto Lux. Going to get in position for a Taric stun, and we're just going to blow her up. So a little bit of a liberal use of my ulti there. Maybe didn't quite need to flash in, but I wanted to make sure that I got her out because she's so squishy. And with Taric CC, with my CC, and with Graves and Elise doing damage, we definitely could have taken her out, and we did. But yeah, those are the basics of Urgot. He's a little bit of a difficult champion to understand and to realize. And another thing that I forgot to mention is his auto attack range is 425, which is very, very low. If I would say standard auto attack range for an AD carry is 550, low auto attack range is 500. That's champions like Sivir and Kog'Maw without his W activated. You know, Graves has 525, Queen has 525, but then, you know, even like Twisted Fate has 525. But Urgot at 425 auto attack range, that is very, very low. So a more standard, typical AD carry build focusing on attack speed and crit and damage, not going to work so well on Urgot because he just is not able to carry a game with his auto attacks as well. You know, he is not going to be that threat from long range who's staying safe behind his team. You know, his kit is much more designed to allow you to get into the mix and be a damage dealer from there. You know, because his ultimate swaps positions with people to get in position to take somebody out. You know, his W gives him a shield. Those two things specifically, you know, in his passive, allowing you to specifically target AD carries. All of those things kind of work together to create this very interesting mix of a character, and I think he's really strong personally. I mean, it took me about 4 or 5 games to get used to it, and to, you know, little things like landing his E consistently. You can see right here, just look how much damage I'm going to do to Lux. I mean, she is going to get absolutely destroyed. I'm probably going to get this kill right there. Let's watch that one more time and count the number of Qs. So, this is perfect example of what Urgot can do. I just finished my Frozen Heart. So, the core of my build is done. Landing, there's the Q. There's 1. There's 2. There's the W for the slow. There's 3. And there's a 4th to pick up the kill. So right there, like I said, getting that magic number of 33% CDR to get 4 Qs off, that right there, I got the kill within the span of those 4 Qs. So, again, just showing you how strong Urgot can be. And also an advantage, too, is I'm also building tanky. I've got quite a bit of armor. Look at that, 187 armor, 100 magic resist. Very, very strong right there. Totally whiffed right there, but do pick up the kill. Oh, actually, I did get the double kill. Nice. I think the tick down from my E picked up the kill on Katarina. So, anyways, very, very strong champion, very strong lane bully. Lane bullies are the type of champions that I've kind of played a lot recently, but that's the end of this game. This game, I think, just really shows you. I end up going 8-0-5, 226 CS, but really specifically, contrast my score with Katarina's. I completely shut her down. Then this is what Urgot can do. I really like sending him to either the mid lane or the top lane against, you know, a little bit squishier characters, especially the AP mages who don't have a lot of armor. Maybe someone like Lux, Katarina. You know, these type of champions are really susceptible to being bullied out of lane. You know, I think of Urgot as an AD caster, and I like to send him to a solo lane there accordingly. But you know, he does have a high mechanical skill. He doesn't have any sort of built-in escape. And he doesn't really fit neatly into the metagame like a lot of the other champions currently do. But if you can get a feel for him, if you can learn his gameplay, his mechanics, be that anti-carry assassin, you build that mix of damage, cooldown reduction, mana, tankiness, you can be really strong. You know, if you take a look at where my build was heading, I've got the Black Cleaver to use with my E to give me damage, give me CDR, give me health, give me armor shred. Very strong item. Mana immune. Mana, damage, and then turn all of my other mana into more damage. Frozen Heart, giving me mana for the mana immune, giving me a ton of armor, giving me CDR. This Negatron was probably going to be built into a Banshee's Veil, giving me you know, more health, more tankiness, more mana for the mirror mana. I mean, this build is just very strong. It all works together very nicely. His kit synergizes very, very nicely. Landing an E, popping your W for the slow and the shield, landing 3 or 4 Qs, using your ultimate to initiate. He's a very strong champion, and I think that he is criminally underplayed. And I'm confident to say that if more people picked him up, I think he could see a resurgence because he is very strong, and I think he can fit into the meta nicely as an you know, kind of an AD caster in the mid lane. You know, kind of like the way that people have been taking Jace to the mid lane. I think that Urgot could be very similar to that. He could also go top lane as more of a tanky bruiser. But, you know, or AD carry, I don't think is his best role, personally. But if you can find a place for him, if you can learn him, if you can get his mechanics down, he can be very strong. And also, he takes a lot of champions by surprise. I would dare bet that this Katarina has never laned against an Urgot before. So that's another really strong positive. If people haven't played against you, they don't know what you can do. But anyways, that's Urgot. He's one of my favorites, and the reason, actually, this is kind of a little story. I really need to wrap this up, but Urgot was the very first champion that I ever played in League of Legends. He was on Free Week, and I had just played it, downloaded it for the first time, and I thought he looked kind of wild. So I just picked him up, and I played him, and I just recently bought him and started playing him again. But Urgot will always have a soft place in my heart because my very first game of League of Legends was with Urgot, and I had no idea what to do, and he was probably a horrible choice for a first-timer, but that's okay. But anyways, this one got a little long-winded towards the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that this helped give you an understanding of Urgot and what he can do, and I'll see you guys again soon.